Welcome back to Lone Wolf, Kai Chronicles. We're on to book 4, The Chasm of Doom. And we actually survived the last 2 books, so we have a lot of stuff. Alright then. Let's read the blurb. Ranon is a remote mining province to the south of your homeland, Summerland. Nestling between the sullen peaks of the Derncrag and Marken mountains, the people of this province have long prospered from their toil in the oil-rich mines, living and enjoying their wealth under the protection of their lord, Baron Vanelland. The golden gems that are mined at Ranon yield an important source of revenue to your homeland. Heavily guarded convoy of wagons that leave the province and journey to the capital has become a regular monthly routine, a routine that had never been broken until 1 month ago when suddenly all contact with Ranon ceased. A troop of 100 cavalry from the King's Guard were immediately dispatched to investigate the whereabouts of the missing convoy. I'm just rereading that. Okay. Their commanding officer, Captain Duval, was ordered to report back to the king as soon as contact was made, but he and his men have not returned. They too have disappeared without trace. The king has summoned you, Lone Wolf, last of the Kai Lords, to his citadel at Holmgard. Your quest is to find Captain Duval and his men, discover what has happened to the missing convoy, and to uncover the veil of mystery that now hangs over Ranon. The king has gathered a company of border rangers, a unit of elite scouts, all of whom are skilled in horsemanship and outdoor survival. He has ordered these 50 men to accompany you, in the hope that with your leadership they may succeed where a larger and more visible force failed. We get 50 rangers! We're going to lose them all quickly, aren't we? As you and your men enter the royal armory to equip yourself for the long ride ahead, you glimpse a black crow perched on a window ledge high above. It flies away, but not before a shiver has run down your spine. In Holmgard, the crow is a bird of ill omen. Alright, so we go through the usual stuff. We get to choose another discipline. So we already have a whole bunch. It's tempting to take weapon skill, but I mean we still have the summer sword, so there's no point. Mind shield. I think it's about time we take mind shield. It does actually help sometimes. Alright. 14 gold crowns. And we can pick this stuff. Chainmail waistcoat. Wait, we've already got... This waistcoat adds 2 endurance points, so... we can... This is better. Shield. It's 2 points to your combat skill. We've already got a shield. Can you have more than one? You already have a shield, alright. We just take this one then. But we can't equip both of these, can we? It's letting us have both, but I don't think you're allowed to. We'll have to discard this one. We'll check the rules in a moment. Alright, let's see. One on the body, yeah, so... Can't really wear both. We'll discard the other one. And I'll take... the potion, I suppose. Okay, so So we'll take off this. So we are now Guardian. Wait, we've got a map. Ah, okay, so that's Home Guard. So now we see the south part of this world. Wow, okay, there's a lot down here. We start at Home Guard, I assume. Three days, you lead your brave company of rangers across the lush plains of southern Summerland on the first stage of your urgent mission. The flat, treeless fields surround you with a seemingly endless expanse of wheat, so high that even though you're in the saddle, it reaches well above your knees. Your horses seem to be swimming through a vast yellow sea of corn that is only interrupted by an occasional track or group of isolated farmhouses. The southerners welcome your sudden appearance, but you only make the briefest stops for food and rest, neither wishing to risk becoming a burden, nor alarm these good people with your mission. By noon on the fourth day, you reach the pass of Moitura. Here the plains give way to the broken foothills of the Derncrag Mountains. You soon reach a highway, the surface cracked and full of potholes, heading off towards the south. This is the notorious Rannon Pike. South of the pass, the Rannon Pike crosses 100 miles of open territory known as Raiders Road. Bandit tribes from the Wildlands and Jack warbands from the mountains of the west frequently ambush those who travel along the pike, and the regular shipment of gold and gems from the mines at Rannon have sometimes yielded rich pickings to these merciless robbers. Point and flankers, you shout, and immediately three groups of rangers peel away from the column and spur their horses to gallop. You watch with pride as the expert horsemen take up their scouting positions to the front and side of the company. It is late afternoon when a ranger scout approaches the company from the west. He points towards a craggy outcrop where a thin spiral of wood smoke betrays a hut hidden beneath the overhanging rock. Sure, let's check it out. Escort of 5 rangers accompanies you along the twisting narrow track that leads to the hut. The rough stone walls are covered with a damp moss, into which is set a curious oval wall. There are no windows. You have dismounted and are approaching the door when suddenly a man's voice calls from inside the hut. Come in, Lone Wolf. I've been expecting you. Okay. I mean, we've got no reason to think it's a trap or something. In the dim light of the interior, you see an old man seated at a table. The flicker of a log fire is all that illuminates this foul-smelling hovel, yet it sheds enough light for you to see the clutter of charts and strange instruments that crowd the hut. The man slowly raises his gaze from a large crystal sphere and bids you sit opposite him. You know my name, how? You ask warily. The stars foretold our meeting long ago, Lone Wolf, he replies, slowly passing his withered old hands around the sphere. Be not alarmed by my knowledge, for I wish only to aid you. He produces a small scroll of parchment from within his robe and hands it to you. Upon the scroll is written the following verse. When the full moon shines o'er the temple deep, a sacrifice will stir from sleep. The legions of a long-forgotten lord, when a fair royal maid on the altar dies, the dead of Mark and God shall rise to claim their long-awaited reward. Okay. You ask the meaning of this strange verse, but the old man does not answer you. He seems to have fallen into a deep trance. You lean across the cluttered table to awaken him and are shocked to see your hand pass straight through his body. Gradually his image begins to fade. Within seconds he has disappeared completely. So we get a scroll. You have ridden less than 5 miles when you see a group of wagons on the highway ahead. They are painted in a gaudy mix of bright colors and drawn by teams of oxen. A huge tasseled banner flies above the leading wagon, which bears the following proclamation. The famous Asagia players, troubadours to the imperial courts of Magnamund. Probably playing some music, so... Sure, let's talk to them. Oh, what the heck is going on here? You signal to the driver to stop. The wagons halt and a small moon-faced man in a bright pink tunic throws open the rear door of the leading carriage. He shouts and curses the driver as he descends the ladder, pausing only to adjust the cummerbund that barely covers his huge stomach. Seeing your men, he lets out a strangled shriek and fumbles for a short sword hanging at his side. Bandits! Robbers! Do we look like bandits? He cries and wrestles to free his sword from its ornate scabbard. A row of anxious faces appears at the wagon windows, but the expressions soon change to a smile when they recognize your soul-lending uniforms. Calm yourself, Yesu, shouts an elderly woman. They are some lending rangers. They will not steal your gold. Laughter ripples along the carriages, and the little fat man suddenly unsheathes his sword with such force that he spins around and tumbles to the ground. You must forgive Yesu, says the old woman. He means you no harm. Raiders Road has made him a nervous wreck. You question the old woman, asking where they have come from and their destination. You learn that they are a troop of players and have journeyed many miles from their native land of Cloetia in the east. They last played for the people of Eshnar, but it was a disappointing show. It seems that the town was as quiet as the grave. Those who did come to see them were a sad and sorry crowd. They are now bound for Holmgard and hopefully a more appreciative audience. Light is fading, remarks the old woman. Perhaps you and your men will camp with us tonight? We would deem it an honor, and would be happy to entertain you all with songs and dancing. You notice a hopeful look in the eyes of your men as they await your decision. Sure. The wagons are drawn into a circle and you set up camp inside. A ranger is posted to patrol the perimeter. The troubadours construct a small stage onto which strides Yesu. He calls for silence before announcing the title of their play, The Brave Warriors of Summerland, a choice that meets with the hearty approval of your men. During the performance, you notice something very odd. Not only is one of the actors using a real sword, but it is a type of sword only issued to officers of the Somlending Cavalry. After the play, you approach the man to question him about the sword. He looks at you nervously and makes a dash for the darkness of the perimeter wagons. What? Sure, let's track him. Although the wagons are shrouded in darkness, your Kai sense reveals to you the actor's hiding place. You climb the ladder at the rear of the large caravan, push open the door with your weapon, and enter. Oh, did he maybe rob the last caravan? Oh! In the plush, candlelit interior of the caravan, let's change the music. You find the actor cowering beneath a blanket in the far corner. You flick the blanket aside and ask the petrified man to explain how he came to possess a fine sword. I bought it in Eshnar, he stammers, his eyes wide with fear, from the innkeeper of the Pick and Shovel Tavern. From the innkeeper of the Pick and Shovel Tavern. He grasps the sword by the blade and offers it to you. If it is your sword I have unwittingly bought, I am truly sorry. Here, please take it. You grip the brass hilt and examine it closely. There is no doubt. It is a Somlending cavalry sword, but the inscription on the blade makes your heart miss a beat. Captain Remir de Val, King's Guard Regiment. Go on, we'll keep it. You return to the troubadour's stage in time for a meal that has been prepared by your hosts. The steaming broth smells most appetizing. That got me suspicious now. What if this troop... No, it's a bit of a long shot, but what if this troop... like... They don't seem very well... I mean, I could just lose 3 endurance points. What if they're trying to drug us all? Take all our stuff. Like, that could be how he got the sword. The show finally comes to an end and you make the necessary preparations for a night's sleep. At dawn the next day, you and your company bid farewell to the traveling players and continue on your way to Ranon. Mile after mile, you ride across the flat and desolate landscape surrounding the Ranon Pike. So weapon-wise, we have like 2 special weapons. Bone Sword. And Captain Deval's sword. You have entered the wildlands south of the pass of Moitura and cannot use the Kai discipline of hunting. Yet in spite of the uninspiring view, your men seem in fine spirits. They sing rousing marching songs to relieve the tedium of the journey and help to allay fears of what may lie ahead. During the afternoon, storm clouds gather above the peaks of the Derncrag Mountains to the west, and the roll of distant thunder warns on imminent rain. It is late afternoon when your scouts sight a coaching tavern on the highway ahead. It is a large stone building that has been fortified. Sure, we'll stop at the tavern. The sound of a tolling bell drifts across the barren landscape. Window shutters slam down, but eyes still peer at you from the arrow slits carved into the walls. You draw your company to a halt outside the wide tavern doors. "We are Somlending. We seek shelter for the night and fodder for our mounts," you shout. There is a long pause before a voice answers your call. "Go away!" shouts a nervous voice. "We're a tavern, not a barracks," shouts another. You try to reason with them, but they are adamant. They will not let you enter. You have no choice to continue along the highway. We need to investigate these places, because, like, we need to find clues for where Captain Deval is. We have no idea. You have not ridden far when a storm cloud breaks directly overhead and torrential rain crashes down. Within minutes, the dry and dusty highway is transformed into a quagmire. It will be impossible to set up camp in this storm, so you resolve to continue to ride all night in the hope that the storm will soon pass. During your night ride, you must... Oh, okay, fine. We won't eat. You're about to order your men to make camp when a scout gallops towards you from the east. He points to a line of horsemen in the horizon. "Bandits," he cries. You estimate that there are at least 200 of them. 200? We haven't... This is the maximum rank. We haven't reached that rank. Bleak, treeless wildlands offer no cover in which you can hide from the bandit hordes. They outnumber your men by 4 to 1. And the life and death of your entire company now depends on your decision. Let's try to keep the company together, but we need everyone. Let's go south. The long night ride and the lack of sleep begins to tell on both your men and their horses, no matter how hard you urge your company on. You cannot outdistance the bandit horde. Suddenly, a large force of armored horsemen appear from behind a shallow ridge to your left. They are trying to cut across and block the highway. As your paths converge, you brace yourself for the imminent confrontation. With a bone-jarring crunch, your horse crashes into the flank of a bandit steed, and you are hurled head over heels to the ground. You are stunned by the shock of impact and fail to see the blade that bites into your shoulder. Combat ratio 10, oh my god, this is gonna be easy. Well, he's actually fighting well. Okay, got him. Your enemy falls from the saddle, and his body is dragged away by his horse, a twisted foot ensnared in the stirrup. All around you, the din of battle rages. You realize that these armor-clad horsemen are no ordinary bandit clan. They fight with a discipline and skill unheard of among the lonely outlaws of the Wildlands. The horse passes close by, the dead body of a ranger still upright in the saddle. You snatch the reins and retrieve a war horn from the dead man's neck. If you are to avoid total disaster, you know that you must quickly sound the retreat. You wheel your steed towards the south and spur the blood-spattered animal to the gallop. The remnants of your company are close at your heels, the victory cries of the foe resounding in their ears. When you are certain that the bandits are no longer in pursuit, you halt to rally your tired and tattered company. Only 10 men have survived the battle. We lost 40 men? The rest have either been captured or been killed before they could escape. With the highway to Summerland now cut off by bandits, you have no choice but to continue southwards. You've been riding for over 4 hours when you see a flock of birds. They are black and very large and are swooping around the brow of a distant ridge. You identify the birds as carrion crows, a despicable breed of wildland scavengers. Whenever a creature lies dead in the wastelands, you can be sure to find a host of these loathsome predators. Have a look. As you reach the top of the ridge, a gruesome sight meets you. The bodies of men and horses lie scattered across the shallow valley beyond, their bones picked clean by scavenging crows. You hear the gasps of horror as your men recognize the armor and tattered white uniforms of these skeletons, for they were once your countrymen, storm-lending guards of the king's cavalry. They must have died in battle, for the corpses of bandit warriors lie entwined among them. 40 brave soldiers, nearly half of the squadron that left home guard 1 month ago, now lie before you, and it is with heavy heart that your men set about the grisly task of burial. As you ride away from this valley of death, you are comforted only by the knowledge that Captain Duval was not among those you buried. After many hours of riding, you reach a highway junction. A large signpost indicates 2 destinations, south to Rannon and east to Eshna. Let's have a look at the map. So we went down here through this pass. So Rannon is down here. Eshna is here, so we're at this junction here. Like, okay, if Captain Duval escaped and went the same way, where will he have gone? Probably Eshna if it's closer. Like, or Rannon because it's in the forest and he'd have better cover. Alright, we'll go to Rannon. It is almost dark when you reach the edge of a densely forested valley. You can just make out the highway disappearing into the trees ahead and catch sight of a signpost pointing towards the south. You are now only 40 miles from Rannon, but your men are tired and in need of food and rest. Alright, let's scout for bandits. You send 3 of your men into the valley with orders to scout the highway and its forested borders for bandits. Before the scouts leave, you remind them to report back within 2 hours. Despite their fatigue, your men are now alert and ready for action, for it has been over 3 hours since your scouts departed and not one of them has yet returned, oh, for goodness sake. Wait until dawn. At first light, you prepare to enter the valley. The highway is enshrouded by mist, and soon on both sides the Rananon forest closes in. A tangle of pale grey tree trunks of every shape and size crowd thickly around you. After a few minutes' ride, you find the wreck of a burnt-out wagon abandoned at the side of the road. Behind it, a track disappears eastwards into the hills. Check the wagon. No cargo remains inside the charred shell of the wagon. The wood is black, and the metal fittings have buckled and blistered in the heat. However, in spite of the damage, you find enough proof on the ashes to confirm your suspicions. This is the wreck of a Somme-lending cavalry wagon, one of 3 that left for Rananon with Captain Dval's troop over a month ago. Okay, so we're on the right track, maybe. As you stand in the wagon, brushing the ash from your hands, one of your men suddenly cries out in pain. You glance up in time to see him fall from his horse, a disc of sharp steel embedded in his chest. Ambush! Take cover, you shout, as more of the deadly discs whistle out of the trees to claim their victims. Frightened horses gallop in all directions, your men desperately clinging to the reins. The hidden attackers vanish as quickly as they came, but not before 3 of your men are left dead upon the highway. You've only got 4 men left? After burying your dead, you must decide on the best course of action. For now, only 4 men remain at your side, and the hidden enemy may return at any time to finish their evil handiwork. If we just keep moving at full speed, it'll be harder for them to hit us with those discs. It is noon before you are forced to call a halt. You have reached the edge of a ridge, where the highway begins a long descent towards a wide wooden bridge. This is the Rananon Bridge. You recognize its stout, black timbers and the dark waters of the River Jain that flow beneath. On the far side of the bridge lie the fire-blackened ruins of an inn and the unmistakable silhouette of a bandit horseman. At the entrance to the bridge is a white signpost pointing across the bridge to the south, Rananon 12 miles. You know it would be suicidal to attempt to cross the bridge. The bandit horsemen each carry a heavy crossbow slung from their saddle. Damn. Where are we? This river here. We can go downstream, or maybe we could go to Jain. Just put on some more coffee. You lead your men in single file into the forest, but in less than a minute the trees have become far too dense for you to be able to continue on horseback. You are forced to dismount and hide your horses before continuing on foot. Then, by great stroke of luck, you find a narrow track leading to a ramshackle boathouse at the edge of the River Jain. If it contains a boat, you should be able to cross the river with ease. Sure. One sharp blow with the edge of your hand is all that is needed to smash the lock on the boathouse door. Your curiosity is soon rewarded by the sight of an upturned rowing boat resting upon a pair of wooden trestles. A pair of pitch stands beneath it. From the layer of dust covering the surface of the boat, you judge that it has stood undisturbed for several months. Search for other useful items. Yeah, why not? A thorough search uncovers the following items. Pickaxe and a shovel each occupy the space of 2 items. Oh man. So we can't take any more weapons. We've only got 1 space in the backpack, but we can get rid of stuff. We've got rope. I don't know if they'll use rope again. We don't actually need the potions, to be honest. Like, after combat, we can usually heal. Keep the alarm split potion. So if we free up 2 spaces, then we can take... Don't bother with pick and shovel. Take a... tinderbox, maybe? We can take a tinderbox right now. So if we put down... If we put down these potions. Okay, put down this potion. And this one. And we've got 2 free spaces. Keep these potions because they're good. And we'll take... pick and shovel sound useful, but... torch and hourglass, I don't know. Or I take the torch and hourglass. I mean, what do we need an hourglass for? Timing something? Like, how many minutes is on the hourglass? Maybe we'll take a pick or shovel. Which one? Well, if we find a cave or something that is blocked, maybe the pick will be used for getting through it. Shovel used for digging. Which is more useful, picking or digging? Alright, let me think about that while I just get my coffee. I think maybe a shovel will probably end up being more useful. I'll take a shovel. Right. On the far side of the boathouse, a narrow slipway descends to a door at river level. One of your men hurries over and raises the stout drawbar while the others carry the rowing boat down the ramp. You push off and clamber aboard, emerging from the boathouse with such a jolt that you are thrown forward in a heap. By the time you have disentangled yourselves, the boat is firmly in the grip of the river current. You grab an oar and fight to keep the boat in the center of the rushing water as it speeds on its course through the foothills of the Macan Range. But no sooner has the boat been brought under control than you are confronted by an unexpected hazard. Ahead of you, the river suddenly disappears into the rock face beneath a massive granite ledge. It is too late to avoid being swept into the inky black cavern. As you glide into the darkness, you prepare yourself for any hidden dangers that may lurk inside. The ceiling of the cavern is so low that you're forced to all press yourselves against the bottom of the boat to avoid head injuries. For nearly an hour, the boat is swept through a maze of underground waterways before coming to a sudden halt. You're grounded upon a bank of shingle. You're in a section of the tunnel that is much higher than any of you have previously traveled. To the south, the river continues into the rock face, but to the west you notice another shingle bank and a land tunnel beyond. I think we should get off the river. Like, at some point we're gonna get trapped. You are halfway across the underground river when the inky black water begins to seethe and boil. You cling to the gunwale and urge your men to row for all they are worth, for the turbulent water now threatens to capsize your crowded little boat. Suddenly a hideous greyish tentacle breaks through the surface. Like a whiplash, it crashes down, splintering wood and cracking bone as it coils around two of your men. Before you could even draw your weapon, they have been dragged down into the bubbling depths. Then another tentacle rises, snaking towards you. It stabs at your chest and tries to butt you overboard. If your endurance point is 20 or more, add 3 to the number. Right. The lightning reactions have saved you from the river. I have a feeling that would have been instant death. You sidestep in time to avoid the sinuous tentacle and lash out. The blow opens a wide gash and an arc of green blood sprays across the battered rowing boat. Only 2 of your men remain. One stabs at the tentacle around his foot, and the other lies unconscious at your feet, his arm badly broken at the elbow. Try and free this ranger, maybe. One blow is enough to sever the writhing tentacle and free the ranger. He shouts his thanks and quickly slices the tip from another rubbery limb as it rises from the slime-stained river. Suddenly there is a tremendous crack as yet another tentacle punches its way through the bottom of the boat. The boat is lifted into the air and you're hurled into the icy cold water. You barely have enough time to catch your breath before a tentacle coils around your legs and drags you down. Pick a number from the random number table, 6, and note this down in the margin of your action chart. This is our oxygen level. Oh, this won't be too bad. Insta kill. We win. The hideous creature uncoils itself from your legs and sinks into the water. You are elated by your victory, but your lungs feel as if they are on fire. You claw your way upwards until you eventually reach the surface, choking and gasping for air. The only sign of the rowing boat and your men that remains on the surface of this dark and dreadful river is a splintered oar floating nearby. You hook your arm over this and drift with the current towards the far bank. A check of your backpack and pockets reveals that nothing was lost during your struggle in the water, but this discovery comes as cold comfort now that your brave company is no more. We're lone wolf once again. Steeling yourself against the unknown dangers that may lie ahead, you resolve to reach Rananon and uncover the veil of mystery that surrounds it. First, you allow yourself one last look at the Black River before you enter the West Tunnel. You followed the tunnel for 3 hours before arriving at a great hall where several tunnels, all at different depths, meet up. A series of wide stone ramps connect each tunnel to those immediately above and below. 4 levels below you, teams of men are pushing wagon loads of ore. Others, dressed in red armor, stand guard over the wagon pushers and urge them on with whips and curses. The tunnel in which you now stand is on the highest level. You realize that the only way you can proceed is by descending the ramp to a tunnel on a lower level. To your dismay, you notice that each of the ramps is guarded by armed men. Inching forward, you peer over the edge of the ramp. 2 guards are sitting near the tunnel entrance below. They're laughing and giggling and pointing at an empty wine flagon that lies at their feet. After watching them for several minutes, you decide they're probably too drunk to notice you. You decide to make a dash for the tunnel. Damn, we had the camouflage, but even that didn't help. This is an easy battle. You're halfway down the ramp when a guard turns to face you. He blinks and rubs his bloodshot eyes in disbelief. You seize your advantage and sprint at the man, hoping to reach him before he fully comes to his senses. Just as he begins to shout, you strike and send him tumbling over the edge of the ramp. The other guard draws his sword and staggers to his feet. He is obviously very drunk and maddened by your attack. He springs towards you like a rabid dog. Dead. Quick search of the body reveals the following items. Brass key, we should probably take the brass key. Right, we need space for the brass key. Alright, I'll use one of these potions. Just use the alarm spell potion, I guess. No, okay, just use this red potion. Take the key. The hoarse cries of the guard echo along the tunnel. You soon reach a section where repairs are in progress. A prop in the center of the passage supports a cracked roof beam. If you could just knock away the prop, it might cause the roof to fall in, which would seal off the passage behind you. You can now hear the running footsteps of more than one guard approaching. Go on, let's try that. The wooden pillar is stout and firm. It will take a heavy blow to dislodge it. We do possess a summer sword. With one slice of your golden sword, the timber splits in two. A shudder runs through the ground, and with one mighty roar, a deluge of earth and stone completely fills the tunnel. Clouds of dust engulf you, and the force of the blast throws you to the floor. All the torches are extinguished. You lose one endurance point. Alright. Staggering to your feet, you hurry along the dust-choked tunnel to where the wall torches are still burning. The tunnel soon emerges into a large chamber, divided by a deep mine shaft. A dark-skinned warrior in tatty leather armor stands guard at the entrance to the wooden bridge spanning the shaft. He is whittling a block of wood and grumbling to himself about how unfair it is he is given the most boring duties. On the far side of the chamber, a tunnel disappears into the west wall. You know that if you are to reach the tunnel, you must get past the guard and across the bridge. Use camouflage. Using your kite skill, you blend into the shadows of the chamber wall and slowly inch your way nearer and nearer to the bridge. Suddenly, the guard puts down his block of wood and turns his back. He is rummaging in his haversack for some food. You see a chance and sprint towards the bridge, your weapon poised to strike down the unwary guard. The guard hears you approaching and spins round. He stares at you aghast and unsheathes his sword. Due to the surprise of your attack, you may ignore any endurance points lost in the first round of combat. Alright. Easy. Alright, we won't take anything. Upon reaching the far side, you detect the sound of running footsteps somewhere in the distance. You decide against waiting to see who it is and leave the chamber by tunnel in the west wall. Less than 50 yards along the tunnel wall, you notice a lever. Your Kai instincts make you naturally suspicious of this unusual feature, and you scour the floor looking for evidence of a trap. You find nothing, but a glance at the roof reveals the underside of a wide portcullis hidden between two beams. You pull the lever and the portcullis falls, sealing off the tunnel behind you. To make sure you will not be followed, you smash the lever with a wedge of stone before continuing along the tunnel. You continue along the tunnel, which runs for several miles, before eventually arriving at the long deserted gallery. A line of empty ore wagons lie parked along a stretch of track that disappears into the west wall of this gallery. Above the arched tunnel, a flight of wooden stairs leads to a smaller passage lit by a sputtering torch. You stay hidden in the shadows, watching the gallery for half an hour before you are satisfied that it is safe to enter. Okay, we've got tracking and we've got that ramp. Judging by the smoothness of the stone floor and the condition of the ore wagons, you deduce that this gallery must service a major section of the mines. A fresh breeze can be felt blowing out of the west tunnel, and you sense that you must be near the surface. Ranon lies due west, the same direction as the ore wagon tunnel. How did that happen? Oh, the river runs to the east. Oh. That stream was to the east, not the west. Okay, fine. So we basically tunneled through these mountains. As you make your way along the torch-lit tunnel, you pass several ore wagons bearing the same design branded upon their wooden sides, a cross-mo line above the initials OV. You recognize the seal of Oren Vanelond, the Baron of Ranon, and it confirms the fact that you are heading in the right direction. Suddenly, the sound of approaching footsteps begins to echo along the tunnel ahead. They become louder, accompanied now by shouting and the crack of a whip. We just get into the wagon. Raising the hood of your Kai cloak, you crouch in the bottom of an empty ore wagon and wait with bated breath. Through a gap in the wood, you see a haggard procession of men shuffling towards you. An escort of bandit warriors pushes them forward, beating any who falter or slip out of line. You feel a sudden jolt as your wagon is pushed along the tunnel. You glance up to see a sweat-streaked face peering down at you. "Run left when I say go," whispers the face, which then disappears over the edge of the wagon. As the wagon emerges from the tunnel, sunlight suddenly floods over you. Through the crack, you can now see your destination. The wagons are being shunted over a timber gantry where the track ends some 50 feet above a huge mound of ore. Your observations are cut short by a hissed command. Go! Sure, we'll follow the command. You leap over the side of the wagon and sprint towards a line of densely packed trees less than 20 yards from the track. Luck is with you, for the bandit guards fail to notice your daring escape, and the wagons continue on their way towards the gantry. Pausing just long enough to catch your breath, you give silent thanks to the stranger who helped you, before pressing onwards through the trees. The trees are alive with bandit patrols. But your quick wits and Kai skills prevent you from being seen by them. Eventually you reach the edge of the copse. You find yourself staring out across an expanse of open plain towards Ranon. The sight that lies before you is very disquieting. Much of the mining town has been burnt to the ground. The blackened ruins of what were once shops, cottages, and taverns are now little more than smouldering mounds of charcoal. You're beginning to fear the worst, that Ranon has been totally destroyed. when a gentle breeze clears the haze of wood smoke hanging like a grey curtain over the ruins. Inside the perimeter of ruined buildings, a barricade has been thrown up around a tower of stone. Above the tower, a tattered flag still flies, bringing renewed hope. It is the sun flag of Summerland, edged with a band of white braid, the cavalry standard of the King's Guard Regiment. A sudden crack of a twig makes you freeze. You glance behind to see three bandits creeping through the trees towards you. The wide steel tips of their spears glint. They seem to be coated with a clear, sticky fluid. We have visited Gordon Cove. Well, apparently we have. I think I remember that, yeah. You recognize ladder and sap dripping from their spears. It is a deadly poison. You dare not risk engaging in combat with these bandits, for the merest graze from one of their tainted weapons could be fatal. Leaping to your feet, you race away from the trees and run towards Rhiannon. From all along the forest edge, groups of bandits emerge from the trees, whipped and scolded by their bullying sergeants for allowing you to escape. This spurs you to quicken your pace and you uncover the first 100 yards with ease. Then arrows begin to fall around you. You duck and weave, making yourself a difficult target for the archers, and gradually the falling shafts dwindle in number. You smile at their futile attempts to stop you, but your confidence is soon shaken by a pack of snarling warhounds breaking out of the woods to your right. They are off the leash and hungry for blood. You are less than 500 yards from Rhiannon. The warhounds are closing in. Oh man. I don't know what to do here. Shall we fight them? But they'll delay. If we fight them, we'll be delayed and then the rest will catch up. Alright, let's stop and fight them. The warhounds lope towards you at an unnerving speed. You can see their great red-lipped jaws clearly and hear the clacking of their fangs. You fight to control your breathing, to control all of your warrior skills, for you must dispatch the warhounds quickly and with precision if you are to avoid being torn to pieces. Two dogs, faster than their brothers, break free of the pack and close upon you. They leap simultaneously, the slavering jaws spread wide for attack. Dive forward and roll, striking at their bellies from beneath as they pass above. Both howl with rage and pain and tumble lifeless to the ground. Vasagonian warhound. Alright. Okay, we killed it quickly. Beyond the approaching warhound pack, you can see that a dozen bandit archers are closing in. If you were to survive the rending jaws of the warhounds, the archers will be sure to pick you up with ease. Without wasting a second, you turn towards Rhiannon and run as fast as your legs will carry you. You try to ignore your aching legs and fear that knocks your stomach by forcing your concentration on the sun flag, a fluttering symbol of hope in the distance. Your face is streaked with sweat and your lungs feel as though they will burst, but you dare not slacken your pace. The thought of warhound fangs closing and tugging on your skin is all that you need to drive you forward. At 400 yards, you can see that the barricade and watchtower are inhabited, but at this distance the faces you can see are only a line of small pink dots on the walls. At 300 yards, you run into some gruesome remains where the corpses of bandits lie twisted on the ground, most killed by arrows. Many have lain in the open for weeks, a flock of startled carrion crows shrieking from their feast as you race through the bodies. You turn away in disgust. Suddenly a new sound drifts across the plain, the sound of cheering. The beleaguered defenders have spotted you and recognized your green kite cloak. 200 yards to go. You've just passed the ruins of a burnt-out cottage when you feel an agonizing pain tear through your left thigh. An arrow has pierced your leg, and you pitch forward into the mud and ash. Crouched in the ruined cottage, a bandit sniper raises his bow and takes careful aim at your head. A scream of pain and terror fills the air. The sniper crashes to the ground as the jaws of a warhound clamp tightly around his neck. Other hounds are drawn by his ghastly screams, and he is soon ripped to pieces. You look up to see a man running towards you from the barricade. He has a shield in one hand and a long bow in the other. It is Captain Duval. He reaches you, breathless from his run, and draws an arrow from his quiver. The warhounds, tired of their victim, are in search of fresh sport and are turning their attentions on you. Duval aims and fires, drawing another arrow as soon as his bow is empty. Warhounds tumble and crash to the ground around you, felled by Duval's deadly shafts. The captain grabs you by the arm and swings you over his shoulder in one swift movement before carrying you back to the barricade. Others run forward to help him, but the bandit archers are now in range, and the men are forced back by a hail of arrows. The red shafts whistle past on all sides. Finally, you reach the barricade. A wagon is pulled aside and you are carried through the open gap. Captain Duval is close to exhaustion, staggers, and his men rush to catch him before he drops you to the ground. A circle of unshaven faces are staring down at you. A soldier cradles your leg as another snaps the shaft buried deeply in your thigh, but before you can even cry out in pain, he has drawn the arrow from your leg with one swift tug. "You are very lucky, Kai Lord," he says as he bandages a handful of palm spur to your aching limb. "The wound is clean and the bleeding is but slight." "I was hoping the king would send a large search party," says Captain Duval wryly, now having fully recovered from his exhaustion. "I was beginning to tire of this town." You rise from your straw bed and offers your thanks to the captain. His brave and timely action saved you from certain death. "It is nothing to compare with you, Lone Wolf. Your bravery is legend. Your presence here is worth 100 men." He asks you about your mission, and you recount the events that have led you to this meeting. The ride south, the loss of your company, and your passage through the Marken mines and the bandits. "Yes, the bandits, Baraka's men," retorts Duval, his gruff voice conveying his contempt for them and their leader. "It seems we have both suffered at his hand. A month ago, he and his Vasagonian renegades ambushed my troop on the Randon Pike. We were sorely outnumbered, and the fight was indeed bitter, but we broke free from them and escaped here to Randon. We have been beleaguered ever since, and praying for help to arrive. We have enough weapons to resist them. We have barely enough food and water to survive. You ask what has become of the people of Randon. Most are now slaves. Baraka has taken the mines, and he has used the Ranese as forced labor. Other than yourself, only one man has escaped from the mines and survived the warhounds and the bandit snipers. That man is Baron Oren Vaneland. Come, I shall take you to him." Duval leads you to the topmost chamber of the watchtower and pushes open an iron-shod door. The sight that greets you fills your heart with sorrow and pity. Oren Vaneland is the 15th Baron of Randon, a noble warrior of royal lineage, and 5th in succession to the throne of Summerland. This once proud and chivalrous warlord now lies upon the cold stone floor of the chamber, red-eyed and whimpering like a frightened dog. "He has lost everything," says Duval quietly. "Baraka has destroyed his castle, his land, his town, and his family. His sons are dead, and his only daughter has been taken captive by Baraka himself. I fear the ordeal has turned his mind." "Who is that tied up?" The pathetic man raises his tear-stained face and with feeble voice mutters a curious rhyme over and over again. "You do have the scroll." As you unfurl the scroll and begin to read its ominous contents, the Baron struggles to his feet. Word for word, he echoes the prophetic verse. "When the full moon shines over the temple deep, a sacrifice will stir from sleep. The legions of a long-forgotten lord, when a fair royal maid on the altar dies, the dead of Marken Gorge shall rise, to claim their long-awaited reward." "You must save her, Lone Wolf. You must prevent the sacrifice." The Baron's voice is choked with emotion. "Save who? Who must he save?" questions Captain Duval as he tries to calm the distressed Baron. My daughter, Madelon. Baraka has found the dagger of Vashna. He plans to sacrifice my daughter upon the altar of Markan to release the undead of Markengorge. The Baron explained that during the Age of the Black Moon, King Ulnar of Summerland killed the mightiest of all the Dark Lords, Vashna, with the Summer Sword. Sword of the Sun. His body and the bodies of all his soldiers were hurled into the bottomless abyss of Markengorge. He plans to lead the dead to victory first, to conquer Summerland and then all of the Last Lands, he says in despair. You stare at the Baron in stunned silence. If Baraka completes the sacrifice, all is lost. What mortal army can stand against a legion of the dead? Captain Duval ushers you from the chamber and closes the door. I feared he was insane, but your scroll confirms my worst nightmare. He speaks the truth. As the dreadful significance of the verse begins to sink in, your thoughts are broken by the shrill blast of a war horn. Captain Duval strides over to the arrow slit and peers out across the plain. As he turns to speak, you notice that his face is ashen grey. The bandits! They're launching an attack! You have his sword. You draw the sword and offer it to the captain. A look of surprise and delight crosses his face as he examines the blade. I never expected to see my trusty steel again. It is a good omen for the battle ahead. Follow Captain Duval as he hurries down the broad watchtower steps and out to the barricade. A rolling sound like distant thunder fills the air. Cavalry are pouring onto the plain from all sides, grouping up into battalions in preparation for the advance. Columns of foot soldiers in bright scarlet armor march through their ranks, herding a frightened wall of people before them. "They're Ruanese!" cries Duval, his hand shielding the light from his eyes. "Her Baraka! He's using them as a shield!" All around you, the captain's men have drawn their bowstrings, awaiting his signal to fire. But it is an order he dare not give. Suddenly, a hidden catapult hurls a massive black rock through the air, straight towards the barricade. You stare in horror as it bursts into flame and disintegrates, showering a rain of blazing oil on everyone beneath. The soldiers cannot evade the deluge, and many are badly burnt before the flames are smothered. A battle cry resounds from the enemy ranks, the signal to attack. The Ruanese are pushed aside and trampled by the onrush of Scarlet Warriors, who now race towards the barricade. The blazing oil has scattered Duval's men, and the barricade is poorly defended. You hear Duval shout your name. His cloak and tunic are ablaze, and he is screaming for your help. Man, let's help him. You push him to the ground and smother him with your kite cloak. The flames are soon extinguished, and you draw away your cloak to see how badly he is injured. Your quick action has saved the captain's life, but although his uniform is burnt and tattered, he has survived the fire unscathed. It is my turn to thank you, Lone Wolf. This time it is you who has saved me from certain death. You help the captain to his feet and race to the barricade. The enemy have now reached the ruined perimeter of Moranon, and they are creeping forward under cover of the broken cottage walls. Climbing up onto an overturned wagon, you order the Somlending guards back to the barricades. But is it too late to repel the attack? The Macedonian bandits break cover and charge, and you give the order to fire. A cloud of arrows sweeps down upon the armor-clad men, the hardened tips penetrating in their scarlet plates. The first wave of assailants tumbles and falls, the second wave falters. Another volley forces them back, and they retreat to the ruins to reorganize themselves. Here and there, groups of bandit warriors have survived the hail of death and reached the barricade. Most are slain as they try to enter, but a small and determined section of their boldest fighters have broken through close to where you stand. Suddenly, a thick-bodied warrior with oily black hair tied in a knot at the back of his scarred head leaps onto the wagon and attacks you. so we're not actually allowed to use these longspur potions during battle. That sucks. Okay, but anyway, we've got good combat ratio here. Oh, we actually got quite hurt. Val runs past the wagon, leading a dozen of his best swordsmen in a countercharge and driving the enemy all the way back to the barricade. None escape alive. Those who survived Val's swordsmen are cut down on the plain by his archers as they run towards the ruins. The shout of victory has barely died away before you're faced by a new threat. Mantlet, a large shield on wheels, is being pushed slowly across the body-strewn battleground towards the barricade. Arrow shafts soon bristle from its thick wooden planks as Duval's men fire their bows, time and time again in an attempt to hit the shielded foe. Suddenly, a robed figure darts from behind the mantlet and levels a black staff at the barricade. He is cut down by an arrow, but not before he is let loose from his staff, a guttering ball of flame. It cartwheels across the plain and explodes with a tremendous roar, hurling the bodies of defenders and shattered barricade high into the air. Through the cloud of dust and debris, you can see a line of enemy cavalry charging across the plain. They wear tall, plumed helmets of polished steel and breastplates of deepest crimson. In the wake of the fireball, they pour through the remains of your barricade and attack. They give no quarter. The horseman spurs his horse towards you, his lance leveled at your chest. Maybe this is a good time to take the potion, and we'll fight him, I guess. The horseman is charging at you very quickly. You will only be able to fight for one round of combat before the momentum of his attack carries you past him. Alright? If your enemy loses more endurance points than you. Okay. Yep. Your blow has unhorsed the bandit. He falls to the ground heavily, shattering his lance beneath him. He staggers to his feet and raising the hinged eye shield of his helm, he stares at you and smiles wickedly, exposing a jagged line of blackened teeth. He spits his battle cry and runs towards you, unsheathing a broadsword as he closes in. Hello, DJ. I got paper adventures while I'm still alive from last time, so we're quite decent rank, and we got a whole bunch of random items, a lot of which may never be called for again. Still got the diamond. I've still got the ticket to Port Bax. Alright, how healthy are we? Quite healthy, we can fight him. You are in combat with a Basagonian horseman who is now on foot. You cannot evade him and must fight him to the death. Alright, well we've got good ratio, so we'll probably win. Dead. Has the Diamond's curse messed with you yet? Not yet. I don't know whether we'll ever be asked for the diamond in any future books, but sometimes they do. Sometimes they do ask for random items that you got earlier in books. Probably not far down the line though. Although sometimes items could be common items, so diamonds could appear in later books again, so it could still be useful. Like, they said it's worth thousands, but we can't trade it in for all that money. You run, half crouched, to the barricade. I'm assuming the diamond could be used as a bribe. Yeah, maybe. You run half crouched to the barricade and prize a bow from the hand of a dead soldier. You spotted the leader of the bandit cavalry, a tall, dark-skinned warrior with a thin, chiseled nose, rallying his horsemen at the foot of the stone watchtower. You know you must kill him before he can regroup his troops, or Duval and his half-pressed men will be ridden down, mercilessly slaughtered. So we're basically in the south of the continent now, like here. We're trying to find some guy who has who is trying to start a ritual to revive an undead army to conquer the world yet again. So we're being pressed by this army. They're trying to stop us, I guess, from counterattacking. You notch an arrow and draw back the bowstring. The straining cord bites into your fingers as you take aim. 57. You release the arrow and it whistles through the air and buries itself deeply into the mail-clad shoulder of the bandit leader. You hear his scream of pain ring out above the din of battle, but even though he is badly wounded, he still attempts to rally his men. You stoop to take another arrow, but to your horror, the dead soldier's quiver is empty. Looking up, you see two dismounted Vasagonian horsemen clambering across the barricade towards you. You throw down your bow and run to a large water cask defended by a stout, Somlending sergeant. The ground around the cask is carpeted with enemy dead. "Shoot the leader!" command, pointing towards the enemy officer. The sergeant aims and fires his bow with one swift and fluid movement. The arrow arcs through the battle smoke and pierces the officer's shiny breastplate. Slowly, his cruel eyes flicker and close as he slips from the saddle, the shaft lodged deep in his heart. Yes. To me! To me! Captain Duval's voice booms out above the battle noise. "Rally to me, Somlending!" The brave captain draws about him a shielded wedge of soldiers and charges into the flank of the horsemen. They reel and buckle as the shield wedge hews its way through their company. A Vasagonian herald, his crimson armor torn and his face smeared with blood, breaks free from the battle and sounds the retreat. You watch as the surviving bandits spur their mounts to the gallop, desperate to escape through the ragged hole in the barricade. Gripped by panic and fatigue, they ride through their own foot soldiers who are advancing to support them. The infantry falter and collapse as the cavalry ride them down. Captain Duval leads his men to the barricade and directs a lethal volley of arrows into the shattered infantry. It is the last straw. They throw down their weapons and flee from the clouds of wet arrows raining down on them from out of the smoke-filled sky. The battle cry, proud and strident, pursues them across the plain. "For Summerland! For Summerland!" All around the barricade, the enemy are retreating in disorder. Bandit war horns announce the withdrawal, exhorting their defeated warriors to flee the battlefield. The jubilant Captain Duval emerges from the war smoke, his eyes shining like jewels beneath the rim of his battered helmet. "We have triumphed, Lone Wolf! We have vanquished the foe!" All around you, the captain's men are rebuilding the barricade and tending to their wounded comrades. It sorrows you to see the Somlending dead, but you take heart at how few they are beside the enemy losses. "We have beaten this foe, but I fear that it is but a temporary reprieve," says the captain, his face now composed and somber. "The sacrifice of Baron Vanaland's daughter must be stopped if we are to avoid catastrophe, for our strength will not avail us against a foe freshly risen from the grave." The words of the verse flood into your mind and a chill runs down your spine as you realize what may lie ahead. In 3 days' time, when the moon is full, Baraka will sacrifice the Baron's daughter at the buried temple of Makan, a sacrifice that will unleash the dead of Makengorj, the Chasm of Doom. You know you must prevent the sacrifice. "50 miles south of Maranon, the ruined city of Makan teeters on the brink of Makengorj. Cold sweat breaks out upon your brow as you contemplate the difficulty of your mission, but you are separated from your goal by 50 miles of enemy-held territory, but there is still a flicker of hope. With the enemy in confusion and retreat, your chances of success will be far higher now than before battle. Before you set off on your perilous mission, Captain Duval offers you the choice of the following equipment provisions. Alright, well we've already got the rope. We didn't use it for anything. We've got space for one more item. Let's take the potion then. Can't take anything more. Dusk soon enshrouds the beleaguered outpost of Oranon, and you use the cover of darkness to cross the body-strewn plain towards the south. An old highway trails up to Marken, but it is choked with Vasagonian warriors. They stand about in sullen groups, tending their wounded and brooding on their defeat. However, even demoralized and dejected, they are still a deadly foe. It will be too dangerous to risk passing through their ranks, so you must use the forest to conceal your passage. Okay, whatever. We'll use the ones on the left. The forest is patrolled by bandits, but they take little interest in their guard duties, and you find it easy to avoid them in the dark. Then, by chance, you come across a small log cabin hidden deep in the woods. A candle flickers at the window, and the door is ajar. Or why not? The door slams shut and you spin around to see a bandit leaping at you from the shadows. His head is a mass of bloodied bandages, but he is armed and determined to fight. Oh, this is gonna be easy. Insta-kill. You roll the dead bandit over with the toe of your foot and make a quick search of his body. You discover the following items. Dagger. We don't really use these weapons. As you are leaving, you notice the trapdoor in the floor. Opening it, you see that it leads down to the cellar of the building. Sure. Oh, what? You are at the bottom of the cellar ladder when the trapdoor slams shut, and you hear a bolt slide across and lock. Who was up there? You hammer on the trapdoor, desperately trying to escape, but your captors cover the trapdoor with a heavy oak cask and keep guard in the room above. 4 days pass before the lock slides back, but the hands that open the trapdoor are bony and fleshless. Where was Captain Duval? Why wasn't he with me? Why were we not side by side at all times? Oh, that's so stupid. Oh, we were... Oh, that was... Well, that was a two book... survival, but... Oh well. Yeah, that's 11. So, yeah, I'll stop there, but next time we have to restart from the beginner's rank. Let's just roll that now. Six. Okay, combat skill is okay. Oh god, terrible endurance points. But combat skill is more important than endurance. Wait, what's going on? Oh, it's still bugged, isn't it? If you restart the book after dying, it doesn't seem to be programmed correctly. Like, if I choose things, just choose any things. It doesn't let me proceed. Alright, we just have to fully restart the book. Chasm up to... Oh man, we're doing so well. Alright. Combat skill... 0! Oh, man. Right. No fighting, except there was lots of fighting in that last run. So... 4. Endurance is average. So definitely we'll want camouflage. So we can only choose 5, right? Yeah. 6 cents. Funny enough, we didn't use 6 cents that whole book, even though it's been so common before. But definitely take healing. Take 6 cents. Tracking, I guess. That's 4. Well, we're avoiding combat, so we're not taking weapon skill, or mind shield, or mind blast, but might regret this. Animal kinship is often good, actually. A lot of animals out there. Zero, so we get the worst amount of money, 10. Well, shield is always good to have. We should take a weapon just so that we don't get the -4 penalty. Yeah, we'll probably find a weapon. I don't know. Well, I'll take the waistcoat. We'll probably get weapons soon. Because the waistcoat's more, like, unique. So we're back to Initiate. So we were at the rank of Guardian at that time. Warman or Journeyman. Pick one. Why is it one or the other? So, alright, I'll stop the stream there, but next time we'll have another go at this. So we kind of went like this, and then we chose to go like down this path, then we went down the river, and through the mountains. Like, we had the option, I think, to go like more east towards Echelon. Or even west along this river. We are not good for combat right now. We don't have the summer sword anymore. It was such a unique weapon, and it did ask for it sometimes. Like, there were options where you could just automatically succeed certain things with the summer sword. Alright then. Stop there. Oh, I almost didn't save. Alright. I'll try and have a little go at this every day if I can, even if it's just a short attempt. Alright, see you next time. Welcome back to Lone Wolf High Chronicles. We're on to book which book are we on? Six. Let's have a look. Oh, 4. Okay, we're on 4. Felt like, oh well, because I died so many times. Alright, so we died on this book last time. Oh god, look at that combat skill. That's atrocious. Hello, DJ. It's time for Sir Trashman to get wrecked. Yeah, I think so. This particular book had quite a bit of combat in it, compared with previous ones, so but I mean it's all possibly avoidable. It really depends what options I pick. I don't have much money either. Didn't even bother taking a weapon. Wait. Yeah, I probably should have taken a weapon. Like, if you don't have a weapon, it's a -4 combat. If you have a weapon, it's a 0 combat, which is better at least. Alright. Let me just grab my coffee, and this is page 1. In case anyone wants to reread it, because I'm not gonna read out the pages I've already read before. Shield is a weapon. It ought to be. Like, we should be Captain America on the battlefield. Oh man, we've lost the Summer Sword. The Summer Sword was amazing. It was basically +8 or +6 over a regular weapon. The thing is, why do we not have the Summer Sword? In theory, we would have kept it. Like, we spent an entire 2 books fetching the Summer Sword to save the world. So why would we just leave it on a table somewhere? Alright. So. Okay, so as before, we've been given 50 rangers, a lot of rangers. And of course, last time we lost them all. But we are here in Holmgard, and we're passing through Pass of Moitura, and we aim to go down here somewhere to find the Val, I think his name is, who is lost and hasn't returned. So basically, a convoy, about a month ago I think, a convoy went down there, disappeared, no one heard from them. Then a search party, led by Captain Deval, went down there. No one heard from them. So now they've sent us, the Lone Wolf, to find out what happened. So, yeah, this is just saying we start on our journey. Investigate the hut. Oh yes, a mysterious person was waiting for us here. And he gives us this scroll with a poem on it. This is very important. I think we really need this scroll. And then we meet these troubadours. So we need some tavern music. So, this is where we get the sword, so yeah, we should meet with them. So we hang out with the troubadours. And then they put on a play for us, and we see one of them has the sword of Captain Deval. So we track him down. And he hands over the sword. He said he bought it from somewhere. So we've got the sword and the scroll. Those are two important things, I think. At least they were useful last time. And then they offer us a meal. Last time I refused the meal. I don't think they're really going to poison us, are they? Alright, we'll accept the meal. Then we arrive at a tavern. They didn't let us in last time. Should we try again?
What proof have we that you're not bandits in stolen uniforms?
What can you say or do that will convince them that you speak the truth? Badge of rank? My rank is like initiate. It's not exactly a high rank. If you wish to say that you're a Kai Lord and you're meant to... Sure, I mean that sounds convincing.
Go away! We're a tavern, not a barracks.
Okay, whatever. So we carry on as before. That's a crazy high rank. We're not that rank. Alright, and then we encounter bandits who outnumber us 4-1. So last time we just ran. And we lost a lot of rangers. Maybe we split the company. Let's do that. Your tactics have worked. The bandits ignore your small group of horsemen and pursue the others toward the west. Once they reach the wooded foothills of the Derncrag Mountains, your rangers will have no difficulty evading the enemy among the densely packed firs. When the bandits have disappeared from view, you call a halt and allow your men to rest. In spite of the number of men you've lost, they're still eager to continue the mission. You've been riding for over 4 hours when you see a flock of birds. They are black and very large and are swooping around the brow of a distant ridge. Oh, okay. These guys were the scavengers, so this is where we find the bodies of all the guards of the King's Cavalry. Now we have a signpost that goes to Ranon or Ashnar. Now, last time we went for Ranon. Ranon is actually where Captain Deval is. But we had to detour down through the river and stuff. Let's try going to Ashnar this time. It is noon on the following day when you reach the outskirts of Ashnar. To the south, the wooded hills gradually ascend towards the magnificent snow-capped peaks of the Marken Range. It is a beautiful sight, one of stark contrast to the squalor of Ashnar and the desolate wildlands to the north. You ride along the only street in this dilapidated town, and eventually arrive outside a large tavern called the Pick and Shovel. Your men are exhausted and badly in need of food and rest. You have a very uneasy feeling about this town. So far, you've only seen women and children shuffling along the street. There's been no sign of any men whatsoever. The inhabitants all seem nervous and avoid looking you directly in the eye. Instinct tells you to turn around and leave as quickly as possible. No men? Do the women and children just chop up all the men? Are they cannibals? Right, follow our instincts. Right. Your men are hungry and exhausted, but they possess an unshakable faith in the infallibility of your Kai sense. You give the signal to leave, but as you near the town entrance, you hear a thin whistling noise. A ranger at your side suddenly screams in agony, a flat circle of razor-shaped steel embedded in his chest. More of the discs follow whistling down from the rooftops to claim their victims. One grazes the back of your hand before embedding itself in the neck of your startled horse. You are thrown to the ground. Bloody hell. Staggering to your feet, you run, half-crouched, to the shelter of a wagon. 2 of your men lie dead upon the road, but the others have escaped the ambush and are galloping away from the town, hidden by the rising clouds of dust. You turn to see a bandit warrior standing at a nearby balcony. He is dark-skinned with oily black hair and beard. He flicks his hand, and a deadly disc whistles towards your face. You twist to one side to avoid it, but the disc bites deeply into your shoulder. Clutching your wounded arm, you sprint along the narrow alleyway that leads to a mass of densely packed furs. As you reach the trees, you hear the shouts of bandits close behind. We'll go south. Onward and upwards, you claw your way through the wooded hillside. Your throat is dry and heart is pounding as though it is about to burst, but you dare not slacken your pace. 4 hours pass before you feel certain that you have outrun the enemy. It is nearly dusk when you chance upon a narrow, steep-sided valley carved from the hillside to afford access to a mine tunnel. For hundreds of years, the ore of the Macan Range has been the blessing and the bane of many who have ventured here to seek their fortune. Men have found wealth beyond their wildest dreams, but also men have perished without trace in this labyrinth of cold, dark tunnels. You examine the mine entrance. You know that if you can find a major passage, you could trace your way to Ranon itself. At the entrance, you find a discarded wooden crate containing 6 torches and a tinderbox. The mines are dark, and you will need to use at least 1 torch to light your way. Will the game let you use one of these 6 torches as a weapon, or are they purely light sources? I mean, base mechanics, you can't use it as a weapon. A weapon is specifically a different thing and not stored in the backpack. But I think there was one occasion where you had the option of using a torch against an enemy because it was like afraid of fire or something. But in general, no. You can hold 2 weapons in addition to 8 backpack items. And special items don't count towards inventory space. So, I mean, we can take all the torches, I guess. Probably don't need them all. But... There's a footnote here. In the flickering light of your torch, you can see that the tunnel is supported by crisscross of props and beams. The rock is damp, and a narrow rivulet of ore-stained water runs along the tunnel floor. You soon reach a junction where the tunnel heads off to the left and right. You sense that the left tunnel leads away from Ranon. Without hesitation, you turn and head off towards the right. The tunnel descends for miles into solid rock. You are occasionally startled by unexpected swarms of glowing mine flies or fluttering bats swooping out of the darkness, attracted by your body heat. You eventually reach a chamber where a small wooden hut has been built against the wall. You are now desperately tired and in need of sleep. Right, we'll check out the hut. Extinguishing your torch, you curl up on the floor and quickly fall into a deep sleep. Many hours pass before you awake, totally refreshed by your rest. Relighting your torch, you can now see that the hut is full of mining tools. Picks, shovels, and wheelbarrows are stacked upright along the far wall. If you wish to take either a pick or a shovel, do so. Alright, we can ditch some torches. I don't think we need them all. Ditch 2 more. So we go west or south? So right now we are in these Marken mines down here. I don't know which way to go, maybe west. As you gradually descend into the tunnel, you feel a draft of cold, dank air on your face. The walls of the tunnel are composed of a glittering ore that catches the light of your torch and reflects it in a dazzling display of color. As your eyes follow the dancing lights, you suddenly notice that the floor is covered with pink fungi. I guess we'll walk through it. Oh, fuck. I think we're doomed. As you tread on the fungi, the pink flesh splits, releasing clouds of spores into the tunnel. They fill your eyes and nostrils. Well, I didn't have an option to just not walk on the fungi. Well, I could eat it, but that seems worse. You cannot breathe. Blindly, you stagger forward until you are clear of the fungi, but as you emerge from the cloud of spores, you're confronted by another peril. A host of hideous, bat-winged reptiles are flying towards you, their scaly hands grasping jagged pieces of stalagmite. You cannot evade combat and must fight them all as one enemy. Well, they don't have much health. Oh, we actually won. Suddenly, the tunnel fiends that are screaming and writhing beneath your blows fade and disappear. You shake your head in disbelief and rub your eyes, but no trace of their bodies remains. You slowly begin to realize what has happened. The fungi spores are making you hallucinate. The creatures existed only in your mind and were nothing more than illusions. Yeah, but clearly I would have still died if I died to them. Unfortunately, any endurance points you lost in combat are not restored. Okay, well, we fought a hallucination, and won. Oh, we're quite healthy. Would have been funny if our new hero died to a bad trip. It's probably not the first time. A line of empty ore wagons lie parked along a stretch of track that disappears into the west wall of this gallery. Above the arched tunnel, a flight of wooden stairs leads to a smaller passage lit by a sputtering torch. You stay hidden in the shadows, watching the gallery for half an hour before you're satisfied that it is safe to enter. Follow the wagon track. Ah, we've been here before. Okay. So we get to some wagons and we see a bunch of people managing them, bandits. So we can hide in one of the wagons. And then, as we're going, one of the slaves that they're managing tells us to jump to the left when he says go. So we'll do what he says. And then we manage to escape and reach. So we should now be at Moranon. And we see the King's Guard regiment who are here, holding up in Moranon. Oh, we're not fighting the bandits, we'll evade. So the bandits are chasing us with warhounds. The bandit sniper raises his bow and takes a careful aim at your head. So we're very close to the soldiers, but there's a sniper shooting us down. I reckon if we get 0, we just immediately get headshotted and die. Right. Oh, fuck! Ha! The twang of the sniper's bow and the hiss of an arrow are the last sounds that you hear in this world. The shaft punctures your skull and you die instantly. Yeah. They love having situations like that where it's just like, there's no way of avoiding it if you roll that number. At least it was only 0. I've seen situations where it's basically 50-50 if you die. Like we were having, like the one where you're on the ship. The mast falls down, and it seems like it's basically 50-50 as to whether it falls on you and kills you. Would you live if you had a helmet? Well, no. If you didn't ask for a helmet, so no. Alright then. Have another go. Let's hopefully we get combat skill. 4 average skill. 9 quite high endurance. Well, that's the highest endurance. Alright. 6 sense. Alright, we might as well we'll take weapon skill this time. Dagger. Alright, since we're not fighting many Dark Lords, we're mainly fighting bandits. A lot of them are not immune to Mind Blast, so we might as well take Mind Blast as well. Always take healing. So we've taken 4. Camouflage, hunting, tracking, Mind over Matter. Let's try Mind over Matter this time. This is telekinesis. It doesn't often come up, but... Well, Sir Trashman, you tried, got high on weird mushrooms, and then got shot in the face. Yeah. Three gold coins. Alright, well, we can take a weapon, so we'll take a dagger. And a shield. Wait, no. I don't want the meal. It may take up to 6 of the following. Last time I only took 2. I didn't even realize it was up to 6. Alright, well, we'll take the chainmail waistcoat. Take potions, I suppose. And then, so I suppose we can take the meals. Oh, all meals count as one object. Fine, we'll take a sword. Alright. Let's increment death counter. Yes, that's important. Alright. So yeah, we investigate the heart. Get the scroll. Then we meet the troops. I think, yeah, we'll just do this again. Meet them. Oh, but this time we don't have tracking, so we might not find the guy with the sword. So we're chasing him without tracking. A large caravan or a smaller coach? I don't remember where he was last time. Alright, smaller coach. You kick open the door and rush in. Unfortunately, it is not the actor who stands before you now, but a young woman in the middle of taking her bath. Uh-oh. After a few seconds of stunned silence, the woman begins to scream at the top of her voice, pausing only to throw at you anything that comes to hand. In a shower of hairbrushes, mirrors, combs, and curses, you are driven from the coach, and the door is slammed firmly in your face. Outside, you find a small crowd of people who have been attracted by the noise, none of whom can speak or understand psalm lending. You find it impossible to explain your innocent mistake, and confronted by their stony stares, you are forced to abandon your search for the runway actor. Great. Alright, then we'll carry on. After journeying through the rich wheat fields of southern Summerland, the view that lies before you now looks especially bleak and colourless. The landscape is flat and desolate, only relieved here and there by a ragged copse of stunted firs or mound of broken earth. During the afternoon, storm clouds gather above the peaks of the Derncrag Mountains to the west, and the roll of distant thunder warns of imminent rain. It is early evening when your scouts find the ruins of an old temple, less than a mile from the highway. Well, the ruins are overgrown with weeds and roots, but you can make out the shape of the inner sanctum of the temple quite distinctly. The huge marble canopy is still intact and will serve as an excellent shelter from the storm. As you tie your horse to a withered shrub, you glance up to see 2 men hiding beneath the canopy, dressed in long black robes. You order them to come out and identify themselves, but they neither move nor answer your call. I'm not going to attack them. We'll approach them. As you approach, they slip back their hoods to reveal 2 smiling faces. They seem relieved to have made friendly contact in the middle of this inhospitable wasteland. Neither of them speaks, but they remove amulets from around their necks and offer them as some kind of identification. The small wooden fish hanging on the neck chains are symbols of a holy order known as the Redeemers, a silent order of pilgrims devoted to a lifetime of prayer and the study of the healing arts. One of the pilgrims hands you a small earthenware flask that contains a potion of holy water. wait a minute. Your rest is disturbed by the anxious shout of the night guard. Awake, awake, we're under attack! Throwing back their blankets, your men leap to their feet, peering through the teeming rain at the shadowy silhouette of horsemen circling the ruins. Suddenly an arrow whistles through the darkness. Your lookout screams and falls to his knees. Form a circle, you shout. Keep behind cover. The rangers gather swords and shields and press themselves against the wet temple marble for protection. The sound of metal-shod boots on stone makes you spin around. A dozen warriors dressed in shiny red armor are clambering across the broken pillars. Two rangers run to block their advance, but they are felled by one sweep of the warrior leader's broadsword. Then the warrior sees you and quickens his pace. His bloodied sword is raised to strike again. Alright, well we've got the edge here. Are we carrying the... we're using a dagger? Yeah, we're using the dagger. Alright, so we should win this. But we could get hurt a bit. Alright, we didn't actually... okay, we're good. All around you, the ruins echo to the clash of weapons and the screech of battle cries. These armor-clad horsemen are no ordinary bandit clan. They fight with a discipline and skill unheard of among the lowly outlaws of the wildlands. You step over the dead warrior and call about you a handful of your men. The enemy have surrounded your horses and you must act quickly if you are to... Where was I? Save them from being taken. You lead a charge through the ruins, piercing the enemy line. They falter and flee back into the darkness. However, by the time you have reached the temple perimeter, only 11 of your horses remain. The others have vanished. After much thought, you decide to choose 10 rangers to continue the mission with you, sending the remainder of your company back to Summerland to report what has happened. Horse thieves, the worst kind of thief, yeah. As the gloomy light of dawn gradually fills the sky, you and your chosen companions bid a sad farewell to those who must march back on foot. Oh, then we see the birds. And we find the dead bodies. And now we can go between Ranel and Eshnar. So Eshnar is just like... they're gonna ambush us there. Go to Ranon, but... like, we don't exactly fare better this way. Alright. So, we're 40 miles from Ranon. We can camp at the edge of the forest. We can send men into the valley to scout for bandits. Okay, this is what I did last time. But those scouts died, and then we got ambushed. I think that the same thing will happen if we... I think we got to rush. You are helped tonight by a cloudless sky, for the highway is illuminated by the pale moonlight. You order 3 of your men to scout ahead, for you know the notorious reputation this forested highway has for sudden bandit ambushes. The densely packed trees lining the road could easily conceal an army of robbers. Before the scouts gallop away, You order them to report anything unusual they may find on the road ahead. Within an hour, you arrive at a junction where a track from the east meets the main highway. Abandoned at the side of the road is a burnt-out wagon. You sense that something is wrong. Your scouts should have reported this wagon long before you found it. Your men are worried by what may have happened to them. You know that you dare not continue your ride in case you fall into an ambush. You decide to rest at the junction and wait for the return of your scouts. 6 hours later, as the sun slowly rises over the eastern tree line, your scouts still have not returned. Well, check the wagon. Two of the choices just murder your scouts, basically. Alright, we've been here before, so we check the wagon, and it's one of the Somme-lending cavalry wagon that we're looking for. And then we get ambushed by those sharp steel discs again. Why does it say after burying your dead? Wait, we're being ambushed right now. So we actually buried them even though we've just been ambushed? Like, we don't have time to bury them. If they ambushed us, then they ran away, leaving 3 of us dead. So then we actually take the time to bury them? Let's just go full speed for Anon, I think. Eastern track. I mean, the bandits know the forest well. Like, we're not exactly well hidden if we go through the forest. Go full speed. You know, it's fairly rare that fantasy stories actually use chakrams. What's chakrams? Alright, so then we get close to Rano, but then there's... Okay, so we are here at this river. And we can cross the bridge, but we can see bandits across the bridge, so we can't cross the bridge. We can either go... Last time I went downstream, so that's west, ended up in the mines. Let's try going upstream this time. The sharp flying disc, real old Indian weapon. Oh, right. Yeah, I was thinking you don't often see flying discs used as a weapon in games. Is that actually the basis for the discus in, like, the Olympics? Alright, we'll go upstream. You enter the forest and descend the wooded hillside towards the River Jane. You have gone only a few yards when the trees become far too dense for you to be able to continue on horseback. Chakram was more of a sharpened ring. Ah, okay. Reluctantly, you signal to your men to dismount and continue on foot. You soon reach the river and follow the foam-flecked water upstream. The climb takes you through a maze of wide rock terraces worn smooth by the force of the river. Then at a point where the torrent is fed by many smaller streams, you catch sight of 6 bandits, stabbing at the water with their spears as it thunders along the smooth-hewn channels. On the far bank, you can see a pile of grey fish standing next to a horse-drawn wagon, which you recognize as a Somme-lending cavalry wagon. I want to ambush them. How many people do we have still? 3? We should be okay. Like, if you ever watched the hit 90s TV show Xena Warrior Princess, her weapon is a chakra. Oh, really? I never really watched it properly. I might have occasionally seen it when it was on TV, but, yeah, I don't remember. Your rangers spread out and move stealthily forward under cover of the large boulders. When you are almost close enough to reach out and touch the enemy, you give a piercing whistle, the signal to attack. In unison, your men rise up and strike. 2 bandits die instantly, their skulls cloven in by 2 ranger swords. A third turns to run, but he is felled from behind and swept away in the foam-flecked water. Your target is a formidable-looking warrior. Great braces of steel encase his wrists, and a grim necklace of shrunken skulls adorns his leather battle jerkin. You strike first, but his reactions are lightning fast. He turns your blow aside with his spear and lunges at your face. Right, well, we have the edge here. Even at ratio 0, I think we still have the edge. The way this works is, if your ratio is... So, if we have ratio 3, we're in this column here. But if we roll low, we basically do evens. And if we roll high, we do a lot of damage to them and don't get hit much. But on combat ratio 0, it's still mostly in our favor. Alright. Yep, we got him. The bandit tumbles into the rushing water and disappears from view. You leap from stone to stone in pursuit of the 2 bandits who have survived the ambush and who are now scurrying off towards the far bank to alert the other bandits inside the wagon. As the bandits emerge from the wagon, to your horror, you notice they are all armed with bows, which they train upon your advancing rangers with deadly precision. As you shout a warning, an iron-tipped shaft creases your scalp, and you're knocked backwards into the swift, dark waters of the River Jane. How would that knock me backwards? Like, is it actually embedded in my head, or...? You smash feet first into a large river boulder. Recoiling from the impact, you cough uncontrollably in your desperate fight for air as the water fills your ears and nose. Down and down, around and around you go, your eyes stinging and the pain in your legs grinding agonizingly upwards towards your body. A glancing blow to your shoulder rips the sleeve from your jacket and numbs your arm. Your weapon falls from your hand. You are somersaulted into a steep V-shaped channel. And buffeted on all sides as you tumble towards a pool far below. You feel the sheer weight and volume of water behind you will plunge you to your doom. And as you plummet into the swirling dark water, all consciousness rapidly gives way to a blind and silent numbness. When you open your eyes, it is dusk. You have been washed up on the riverbank near to a twisting forest track. The silhouette of the Macan Range rises steeply to the east, and you realize that you must have drifted many miles downstream. So we lose one weapon. Well, we only have the dagger, so... Oh, we got the sword. Okay. Throw away the sword then. Good to have a backup weapon. We're here. So we got washed downstream and we ended up back at the mines. Okay. We did keep the chainmail. I have had... When we fell in the sea before, we did lose the chainmail. I'll take at least one torch. We only actually need one, don't we? Actually, we don't really need the meals. We'll drop 2 meals and take 2 torches. Oh, this is a different place. You soon reach a section of tunnel that is under repair. Part of the floor has subsided and a gaping hole is spanned by a rickety wooden bridge. You are tired and fail to notice that your torch is almost burnt out. You're at the center of the bridge. When the torch flickers and dies, you are plunged into darkness. Alright, well we do have a torch and a tinderbox. You fumble for your light, and in doing so, you drop one other item from your backpack into the crevasse. Alright, just drop the meal. Like, meals are not that important. Basically, every now and then it says eat a meal or lose 3 HP. I usually just, even when I have a meal, sometimes I just pick lose 3 HP, because you gain it back if you've got the healing ability within 3 turns. Like, I thought there might be occasions where someone's starving and you, like, give them a meal or something, but so far meals aren't really that important. You are now so tired that you are forced to stop and sleep. Many hours pass before you awake, totally refreshed. Restore 1 endurance point. Really? Totally refreshed? Okay. You follow the tunnel for 3 hours before arriving at a great hall where several tunnels, all at different depths, meet up. Oh, we've been here before. Alright. So we've got the drunk guards. We don't have camouflage this time. Ah, but we can win. Pretty easily, I think. Take the key. Sword. Right. And then, so we're in the mines where the bandits are kind of managing the slaves and making them find the stuff. We just killed 2 guards. If we knock away the roof prop, we can block the tunnel. Last time we did it because we had the summer sword. I don't know. Now it might be just a dice roll. Oh, fuck. Okay. Now we have to fight them. Alright, well, we've got the ratio, but... Oh, wow. Ooh. How did we get up to 33? No, that's what we started with. I didn't really look at it. Oh. And the waistcoat adds 4. That's quite a lot. Alright, we're good. We can just fight them one at a time. Let's go for the easy one first. Ooh, he's actually getting us. Okay, now this guy. Ooh, another dagger. Well, we should take the dagger instead of the sword. Muffled footsteps make you glance nervously along the tunnel. 2 guards are trying to creep up on you under cover of the shadows, but you turn and run before they can attack. You can hear the harsh breath of the guards close behind you. Suddenly the tunnel narrows and divides in 2. Your Kai sense reveals that the right tunnel is a dead end. Anxious not to get trapped by your pursuers, you turn and run into the left tunnel. You soon enter a chamber divided by a deep mine shaft. Spanning the shaft is a wooden bridge at the entrance of which a swarthy warrior stands guard. He has been alerted by the screams of your pursuers, and as soon as he sees you, he runs towards a rope that hangs from the ceiling, leaving the bridge unguarded. Your pursuers are nearly upon you. How healthy are we? Reasonably. Let's attack him then. You hit the guard and open a deep wound in his neck. He screams and turns to face you, a short sword in his hand. Right. Dead. As you step over the dead guard, you follow the line of the hanging rope to a pair of locking pins, which secures the bridge to the edge of the mineshaft. If the guard had pulled the rope, the bridge would have fallen away and you would have been trapped on this side of the chamber. You run across the bridge just as your pursuers enter. A rope, similar to the one opposite, hangs from the ceiling next to the tunnel entrance in the west wall. You look back to see that your pursuers are now halfway across the bridge. Alright, we'll pull the rope. Hopefully it's not a trick and it's not like a rock is going to fall on our head or something. Uh-oh. A smile flickers across your face as you give the rope a hefty tug. Confidently, you turn to watch your pursuers drop into the gaping mineshaft. Unfortunately, the only thing to drop is the heavy portcullis that has now sealed off the entrance to the tunnel. Your enemies cackle with glee and draw their weapons to strike. Oh god. Oh no. We're quite healthy, but... Can we take a potion? We're not allowed to take the potion during combat. I should have taken it before. Alright. Start with the easier one, I guess. Damn, we're losing too much. No! 12? Oh no, we're not gonna survive this. No. Okay, he's dead, but now we're on 7. We need some good luck. Oof, that's good. Ooh! Ooh! That last one was a crit. That was lucky. You're about to search the others when you hear the sound of running footsteps approaching from the other side of the chamber. You pull the rope once more and breathe a sigh of relief as the portcullis rises into the ceiling. Rolling under the widening gap, you jump to your feet and make a hasty escape along the tunnel. Less than 50 yards along the tunnel, you notice a lever. Alright, we've been here before. So you pull the lever and you seal the tunnel behind us. And we smash the lever. Sure, we'll eat a backpack. Meal. Ah, okay, we're here now. So... So last time we followed the wagon track, that brought us to the mushrooms, didn't it? And then we had to fight the hallucination. We're not really that healthy. But we can take the potions. Because that did work out. It did bring us eventually to the... the battlefield, which is where we need to get to. Right, we'll follow this track again. Oh no, this comes after the mushrooms. Alright, we should be fine then. We'll get into the wagon. Jump to the left. Alright. Oh god, the sniper's gonna fire at us again. So So we've reached the King's Guard. We've reached the point where it's just a little bit further until the King's Guard. You want to risk the sniper again? I mean, how healthy are we? If I fight them, I should heal before doing that. Oh, they've got poison spears. Because last time, before I took this option, and it said they will basically kill me if they touch me with that. The spears. Alright, we'll run. Quicken the pace. Alright, the sniper. 7, that's probably good. Alright, yeah. We then meet Captain Duval, who takes out the sniper. We didn't manage to get his sword for him. Alright, so he saves us. And bring us to the watchtower. Then we are introduced to Baron Oren Vanaland, who was the Baron of this town before it was taken over by... well, before it was assaulted by Baraka and his men. Basically, Baraka is the main villain. He's trying to fulfill a prophecy that will revive the dead and have them conquer the lands. He's taken the Baron's daughter, who is needed to sacrifice as part of the prophecy. But the Baron's gone a bit crazy. So we do have the scroll. We'll show him the scroll. He wants us to save his daughter. We don't have the sword, unfortunately. So we've been here before. Now we're attacked by the bandits, but they're using the Ruinese slaves as a human meat shield in front of them, so it's harder for us to shoot them. Duval gets knocked down. I do want to help the captain. And we save him from the fire. Okay. We can fight the warrior. Oh, I should have healed. Okay, we're alright. So... yeah, we'll fight him. It's alright, but... okay. Damn, I got hit quite a bit. We should probably heal. New threat. Alright, yeah, let's heal. Take both potions. Ah, now there's a large shield on wheels which is approaching. The robed figure. Uses a black staff to cast a fireball on us. The horseman spurs his horse towards you and his lance leveled at your chest. We'll fight the horseman. We only fight for one turn. Ooh, it's exactly even. That means we go to this one. Draws a curved broadsword. His smile is evil, exposing a jagged line of blackened teeth. Spurs his horse towards us once more. Ah, we do have Mind Over Matter. We only had one, though. Oh, we do have 6 cents. Okay, so we have 3 altogether. Alright. Really? You leap forward to strike, but the bandit rears his steed to avert your attack. You feel the horse's flailing hooves crash down on your head, and you're quickly trampled into the blood-soaked ground. Concussed and mortally wounded, the last thing that you remember of this world is the evil sneer of the bandit horseman as he raises his long sword for the death blow. Yeah, we had 2 chances there to knock the horseman off his horse. We failed both. Death counter goes up. Oh boy. Alright, let's try again then. This is like book 1. We repeated book 1 a lot. Despite book 1 is supposed to be reasonably easy. Alright. Decent skill. Alright, let's see. We'll go for combat. Again. So get weapon skill. Dagger again. Flame blast. I mean, the weapon that you're skilled in doesn't matter. They're all the same. All that matters really is what weapons you find. But this book, you get to choose a weapon, so that really helps. Alright, so Mind Blast, Dagger, Healing, 6 cents, and... Mind Over Matter actually had a use. Camouflage can be useful. Animal Kinship is kind of useful, but now I know what the crows are up to, and... I don't know. Or I'll go with Camouflage. Okay. Let's definitely take a Dagger. The shield and the waistcoat. And the potions. It's good to have a spare weapon. We'll take the spear. And take all the meals. Alright, here we go again. So investigate the hut. Get the scroll. Then stay with the minstrels. We'll chase him. Let's try the large caravan this time. Okay, nice. So he's in the large caravan. Oh, okay. Drop the spear. Get the sword. We'll accept the meal. Where are we now? The old temple ruins. Sure, we'll stay here. We'll meet them. We'll eat a meal and take the holy water. Then we get attacked by the bandit warriors. Just fight. Ooh, we're losing quite a bit of health. Okay. And then we send some of our rangers back to the kingdom to explain what happened. Then we'll check what the birds are doing. We find the dead troops. Alright. We're going to Eshnar or Rannon. We'll go south again. So we are now past this junction and heading to Rannon, and we have to deal with a lot of bandits. So if we send men into the valley, they get killed. If we set up camp, we'll probably get attacked. But I haven't actually tried this option. We get attacked either way. Alright, we'll set up camp. Alright, so we find the wrecked wagon. There are... We'll check the wagon. Because this tells us that it was one of the King's Guards wagons. Let's try the eastern track this time. You have ridden less than 100 yards when you notice fresh hoof prints in the dust of the winding track. You soon arrive at the entrance to a mine. 2 sets of footprints disappear into the gloom of the tunnel, and judging by their shape and size, they were made by 2 of your missing scouts. You shout into the mine, but there's no reply to your call. Kind of want to avoid going to the mine, so we are kind of... Where are we? At these mines? No, we should be probably up here. We haven't crossed the river yet. I feel like if we enter the mine, we'll just get lost ourselves. Let's return to the hill track. We find another burnt out wagon. Did I find this before? Alright, we'll examine the wagon. It is another cavalry wagon. So we know where all 3 wagons are. One was at the entrance to the forest. One was here by the mine. And the other was, I think, further upstream. Alright, we're here now. Upstream or downstream? Last time we went upstream, I think that kind of worked out. Quite healthy. So we can surprise attack the bandits. Should we try sneaking though? I got camouflage. Oh, damn it. You are halfway across when one of your men slips and is washed away by the torrential river water. His desperate cries alert the bandits. Suddenly, a bandit... Damn it, I've got to teach my rangers to die quietly. Suddenly, a bandit warrior appears on top of the boulder behind which you are hiding. He screams and lunges at you with his spear. Deduct 2 from your combat skill for the duration of the fight, for you are at a disadvantage. The bandit warrior towers over you and your footing is wet and slippery. Alright. And then we get knocked into the river. And then we have to drop a weapon. Oh, damn. Damn. Do we throw away the dagger? Yeah. So basically we're sacrificing the +2 we get from the dagger in order to be able to keep the sword. Now we end up at the mine. Alright, we'll take the tinderbox and drop 2 meals. 3 meals even. Take 3 torches. So we do have a torch and a tinderbox. Drop some object. Alright, we'll drop a meal. We don't really need meals. And we are back in the mine. So we slip past the guards instead of fighting them, so the guards are not alerted, that's good. Go down the left, so they're not chasing us this time. We get to the bridge that we were at before. Use the camouflage. We have been here before as well, along this path. So we basically blend into the shadows along the wall and creep along. Damn, we get the low roll. Alright, we have to fight him. Alright, we easily kill him. Then we notice the lever. So we pull it to block the path behind us. And then now we get to the wagons. Wagon track. Yeah, we'll go back into we'll follow the wagon track again. We'll go into the wagon, we jump to the left, we run. Now we're here again at the battlefield. We don't want to fight the bandits, because if they delay us, more bandits catch up. So let's run. Run. Don't get sniped. Okay. Captain Deval saves us. Blah blah. Give him the scroll. We give him his sword back. And then this all happens again. We save the captain. Well, let's check our health, because... Okay, we're at full health. And we're using the sword. We save the captain. And now we're fighting this warrior with a sword, so we're not as strong as before. No, we'll just fight. Okay, that was good. Wait, this is like the heat of battle. Now we have to deal with the horsemen. Ooh, combat ratio -1 this time. Nice. We hit him for more, so... that means we've unhorsed the bandit. So now we can just fight him off the horse, I suppose. That gives us the edge. Nice. Nice. Okay, so then we reach the point where we see the leader in the distance rallying his troops, so we need to kill him with an arrow. Get the middle roll. So we hit him in the shoulder, but he doesn't die. We tell our troops to aim for him. And we succeed, I think. And Captain Deval rallies the troops and cuts them down to where guy 11 was. Yeah, pretty much. And we basically achieve victory. And And now we have to push on to save the Baron's daughter. Alright, take the rope. Drop a torch. Take a potion. Alright. Take a spare weapon as well. Spear. Alright. So then we venture through the... Where did I go before? I think I went to the left. And that's where that house was. We can avoid the house, though. We'll go left again. Alright. So the hut. So before I entered the hut, and I went down the trap door, and that was where I died. We could still enter the hut, but just not go down the trap door. It's still a bit of a trap, though. I mean, we know there's people in there waiting for us, so let's just avoid the hut. Alright, we're in new territory now. You quickly leave the hut far behind and press on through the trees. By morning, you have reached the edge of the forest. Staring out across the fields of tall crops, you see a small village lying at the base of a shallow valley. Fields are only separated by narrow tracks, which are alive with flying insects hovering in swarms. You are walking along the track when you suddenly spot bandits ahead. They are wandering idly up the track towards you, their spears slung over their shoulders. We don't have an onyx medallion. If you have the Kai discipline of camouflage, and you have reached the Kai rank of Guardian or higher. Well, we don't have the Kai rank of Guardian or higher. Like, we restarted this book, so we should be in that option, shouldn't we? We're Initiate, it says right here. Unless Guardian is a lower rank than Initiate, but that wouldn't make sense. Let me take a look at the book. How high is Guardian? Where's the contents? They don't have a contents page. Guardian is like 2 down the line. That option is not supposed to be available. I don't know, unless... I don't know. Alright, well, for some reason this is available, but I guess we'll just click it then. Lifting your feet high, you step into the tall crops, taking care to part them first with your hands. You allow the stalks to close again behind your back before you crouch down and hold your breath. You have completely vanished from sight. It is as if the stalks have never been disturbed. The bandits amble past barely inches from where you hide, oblivious to your presence. When you are sure they have gone, you emerge from the crops and hurry away. You bypass a village with orange wood cabins and stone walls, and climb through the tall fields towards a wooded ridge. Beyond the ridge, you enter thick forest and discover a bubbling freshwater stream. You drink deeply and realize how hungry you are. As night falls, you reach the city of Marken. The gaunt, weed-infested ruins of this shattered city are spread like a vast graveyard and bathed in the eerie light of a near full moon. The sound fills the air like the wailing of lost souls. It is the cry of Markengorge. It has been nearly 2 days since you last slept, and fatigue begins to overwhelm you. Throwing your Kai cloak about your shoulders, you settle down to sleep. You will need all your strength for the daunting task that lies ahead. Dawn arrives, rain-swept and gloom-laden. Pall of drizzle hangs over the ghost city, and the gruesome discord of the wailing winds of Makengorge makes you feel uneasy. You watch and wait, your kai cloak drawn close about your shoulders to keep out the chill, damp air. It was here, during the age of the Black Moon, that King Ulnar of Summerland killed the mightiest of the Dark Lords, Lord Vashna. In mortal combat upon the very brink of the abyss, the Dark Lord was slain by the Summer Sword. It is said that his death cry, when he fell, will echo through the gorge until the day he rises to wreak his vengeance on Summerland and the House of Ulnar. Your stomach contracts at the thought that this could be that day. For 5 hours you observe and take in every detail of the ruined city. The first line of the strange verse keeps repeating itself in your mind. When the full moon shines over the temple deep. The temple must be underground, and there must be an entrance to it, but where? You study every crack in the broken ground and eliminate all but 2 possibilities. A crypt door guarded by 2 Vasagonian warriors, and a flight of marble steps descending into the earth between 2 columns of fractured pillars. Do we still have an escort? Are we still with the captain and everyone? I feel like if they're guarding it, then there's a reason they're guarding it. Let's go for the guarded crypt door. You manage to reach a tangle of briars growing near the crypt door, and from here you observe the Vasagonian guards undetected. More soldiers appear on horseback, riding into Machen from the north. They dismount and approach the door. "Password!" shout the crypt guards. "Long," reply the soldiers. The door opens and they are allowed to enter. Armed with the password, you decide to try and enter in the same way. Keeping the hood of your cloak raised and your somlending features in shadow, you walk boldly towards the guards. Do have camouflage. Your bravado has paid off. The guards accept the password and allow you to enter the crypt. As the stone door is drawn shut, you find yourself in a wide torchlit corridor heading towards the east. The corridor ends at a flight of steps that descends 100 feet into the earth. At the bottom, a short passage leads to a junction where a tunnel runs from north to south. To the north, you can see a torchlit cavern with what appear to be observation slits carved into the wall. To the south, a passage leads towards a low balcony. Let's have a look over the balcony. An empty feeling grips your stomach as you stare upon the altar and inner sanctum of the subterranean temple. Your kai senses burn as if every nerve in your body is screaming a warning to flee from this evil chamber. Huge braziers of molten metal encircle a black altar upon which lies fair Madelon, the daughter of Baron Vanelont. She seems to be entranced. Her breathing is slow and shallow. Beyond the altar lie 2 massive doors, a gigantic skull engraved upon their black stone surface. Out of your view, another door opens and a procession of red-cloaked priests enters the temple. Their heads are covered, and they each carry strange amulets of black stone. They file past the altar, depositing the amulets in a circle around the young girl's body, and then file out again in total silence. Then you hear the sound of a distant drumbeat. It grows louder and nearer. The measured steps of steel-shod boots resound in its wake. Baraka is approaching. Baraka carries the stench of death and decay about him. He strides into the temple, his boots of Gorga's hide covering both legs and feet, and slams shut the huge stone door with frightening ease. He stands in silence before pushing open the huge black doors engraved with the menacing skulls. Suddenly, a gale-force wind sweeps through the temple, and your ears are filled by a terrible scream. Beyond the open doors, a pier of stone juts into the abyss of Makengorge. You are staring into the Chasm of Doom. Baraka turns away from the windswept pier and walks slowly towards the altar. From a hidden scabbard, he removes a twisted black dagger and holds its stiletto blade to the light. An evil blue flame runs up and down the black steel spike. Flickering in the ice-cold winds of Makengorge, the sacrifice is about to begin. So we can either attack him. Let's think. He'll probably be immune to Mind Blast or something. So our combat skill is kind of average. We do have lots of health. We're attacking with a sword or spear, which is not ideal. I think our odds are okay, but I'm not sure. Should we try the distraction? Hold your blade, Baraka. Her life is not yours for the taking. Your words ring out above the howling wind. The renegade noble turns to face you, his laugh as piercing as your command. He advances towards you, the flame-licked dagger held high in his mailed fist. You draw your weapon and enter the temple. You wish to try to free Madelon. Well, he's probably going to stab us in the back if we do that. I think we're going to have to fight him. We do not possess the Summer Sword, unfortunately. That probably would have been very good against him. We do have the Holy Water, though. Baraka draws a razor-sharp scimitar. Holding its mirror-like blade in his other hand, he advances towards you with deadly grace. You can sense his warrior prowess, his ice-cold nerve. Your fight will be hard and to the death. You grasp the flask, take careful aim, and hurl it straight and true. Baraka stares open-mouthed as the container shatters against the black steel dagger. There's an explosion of searing white flame. Heat scorches your face and you're thrown to the floor. You stare in horror as Baraka, his arm torn from his body by the blast, staggers backwards across the temple. He has been blinded by the fire, and he claws at his sightless eyes with his remaining hand. You watch in silence as he stumbles through the black skull doors and plummets into Machengorge, swallowed up by the Chasm of Doom. Nice. The holy water. Where did we get that? We got from the temple ruins. Although there's like a 50% chance of us actually going to those ruins. As Baraka dies, the wind suddenly rises in pitch and intensity, filling the temple with a mournful cry of despair. You feel the chill, malevolent spirit of Dark Lord Vashna engulfing you in an icy embrace. But you sense that he is powerless to harm you. The sacrifice has been foiled. He is doomed to lament for a victory that might have been. Lying on the black temple floor is the dagger of Vashna. As you pick it up and tuck it into your belt, the evil blue flame flickers and dies. As long as you possess this evil blade, Dark Lord Vashna and his legion of dead warriors will remain imprisoned in the Chasm of Doom. Yeah, we better not lose it. You free fair Madelon from the altar and carry her through the corridors of the temple that lead up to the surface. Some uplifting music on. As you emerge into the moonlit ruins, an astounding sight greets your eyes. Baraka's warriors are running from the ghost city in all directions, closely pursued by an army of cavalrymen. The light of the full moon and the guttering torches that these horsemen carry illuminates the sun crest that bedecks their tunics. Word must have reached Holmgard, for they are the Somlending army, led by King Alnar himself. Your countrymen praise your courage and daring, their strident cheers drowning the cry of Machengorge, for once again you have proved yourself a true hero of Summerland. As you deliver Madelon into the waiting arms of her father, his overwhelming joy fills you with a sense of great achievement. You are indeed worthy of the title Kai Lord. You have succeeded in your perilous quest, but the epic saga of Lone Wolf, last of the Kai Lords, is far from complete. A new and deadly challenge awaits you in Book 5 to the Lone Wolf series, titled Shadow on the Sand. Nice. We've got the Dagger of Vashna. Shield is really good to have as well. Still good scroll. Got a bunch of potions and stuff, which are useful. Weapon skill dagger. So we'll get to take one more. Okay, we've got decent stats. Alright. I was gonna stop here, but I kind of want to keep going. Have a stab at Shadow on the sand. Let's do that. It might be short-lived. Alright, let me just